So I've been talking about residences and without saying what is a residence. So to be quick about it, there is no definition about what is artisan residence because every residence in a way functions as an island on its own. But the definition that we came up with, which is very simple and very basic, is that artisan residences are places where you can go and work on your art for art's sake. And that would be it. So very short, that would be the most common definition that we could give because it's really, you'll see later on when we show the examples, it differs. Sometimes the residency can be 1 week, sometimes can be 1 month, sometimes can be 1 year. And also about what they are offering, will you have exhibition or not, only do research. We'll talk about all of this later, but in general, this is it. It's a place where you can go and just work on your art.
Yeah, like you were saying, if you're talking about very discipline-based or technical, this is a very specific center. It's the European Ceramics Work Center. It's located in Holland, in the south of Holland. And people can go there for 3 months. And it's actually, they're not looking for artists who are working specifically with ceramics, but they're more interested in artists from other fields who would like to do a project with that. Can also be an architect who wants to experiment with it. But they're more into the innovative aspect of the medium. And therefore, even if you have no experience or whatsoever, they provide you with assistance and with a working space, and the whole project is guided. And it's basically like a laboratory where you can research and try out things and also make a production. And this is one of the examples of what an artist did there. It's Sana Papa Garcia. She stayed there also for 3 months. And she's not a ceramic artist, but she was very much interested from her own body of work what happens with structures somehow. And she started to mix the glazes that you use for recoding with the ceramics to create her own kind of crystallization. This is in Cairo, where everything is going wrong at the moment. And there's this, it's called Farah's Gallery. It's an international institute where everybody, artists can apply to work there. And I just wanted to show you this really nice project. It's a project.
Sorry to interrupt you. Before you go to the project, this is an example of a very good example of a residency where I talked previously that asks for social involvement from the artist. Yes. So this is a very good example about the process.
Yeah, and they were really involved. They got together with the whole neighborhood. This is actually the residency block where the gallery also is located, the center. And they started to ask the people from the neighborhood, would you be interested in building a maquette of the neighborhood together with us? So this ended up in the whole community measuring everything they found on the streets in the block by the millimeter and making notes of it. And they started together to rebuild the whole neighborhood, the whole block. And everything, even the dust on the windows, they remade. And it was also a project about awareness, about being aware of your what's your neighborhood like, how does your community look like, are there things that could change. And yeah, it's amazing. Look, it's almost real. See, all the people are constantly working on it. And the really great thing about it is that when things changed in the neighborhoods, they would change alongside with it in the maquette. So things would kind of, a building would grow, a car would go away, and so on. So this is kind of the eternal, everlasting maquette. Yeah, but
I just wanted to show quickly 2 more examples of residencies, and then I think we are done. I think we showed quite a lot, so you will have time to process all this information. But now about Banff. So when we're talking about luxurious residencies, let's say this would be one of them. because this is how it looks like. It has a huge park. And actually a friend of mine, he was in this residency, and he said that it's like a ski resort, an exclusive ski resort. And he was there for 2 months, and his problem was that he didn't do anything. He was just enjoying. So also when you're in a residency, also try to use that time as much as possible to create and to do what you're planning to do, because when you think about it, 2 months is actually not such a big time. It can go like this, and it's nice to have a vacation, of course, but it's also nice to do a bit of work. So Banff is a residency that probably would be tempting once you go there to work, to choose between work and vacation. But they are really good because they have very well equipped studios for different disciplines. And when you look at the residency, always check the studio they are offering as well. Because depending on your needs, so what you need, can the studio accommodate you? So for example, if you're a painter, you need good lights in the studio. Or if you work with sculpture or installations, you need a big studio. And maybe the residency is equipped only for a video artist, so you've got a desk and a laptop. So always check the facilities they are offering and the equipment that they are having, and what kind of equipment would you need, can they help you, because sometimes you cannot bring all your tools with you to another country.
I think they give you time away as well, because I find like it is, all of the residencies had I was given a fee, and the difficult thing is when you finish, you've kind of spent your fee, so you do have to go back to, like doing all the different jobs and working and putting things together until you get the next residency. So I wouldn't say it was a big money maker by any means, because you do have to go back to your normal stuff in between. And the other thing which is great about Drysdale as well, although it's now kind of by invitation, they do 6 residencies a year and they grow relationships with different artists and different kinds of people. But you'll find a lot of residencies actually now, which is really good. They're more in gear for people who have families as well. So you don't have to, like somewhere like Drysdale, people didn't have to spend 6 months or 3 months in a row there. You could be there for 2 weeks, go away, come back and do another 2 weeks. It was actually encouraged so that you were kind of being able to think about what you were doing there, like while you were away. And so some residency centres have got that, great thing about, being able to come in and out. So that's something to look out for if that's kind of your situation. So all of the residencies that are here are very different, and some places like Edinburgh Sculpture Workshop are very much for emergent artists who do micro residencies. CCA's got a great kind of creative lab where people that are doing performance are kind of more digital kind of side of things. It's short residencies, and they encourage people from Glasgow to do a residency with them, so it's a residency in their own city. There's other places like the old church house in Pittenweem in Fife, which has actually just sort of started up in the last year, and they're very much for photographers, multimedia artists, but they have to have a humanitarian aspect to them. So again, that's a very specific workshop. I think what they say is you leave a piece of work when you finish, and that's kind of your payment of being there. So you do find some which are, got that kind of aspect to them. Hospital Field House in Arbroath, they're absolutely fantastic. Hospital Field House is a house with an amazing collection. It's like a historic house, but it also has gardens that are community gardens that are farmed around about it. So it's like quite a wonderful situation. And again, they do keep an eye out. They do opportunities for artists that are just graduated. So I think you sort of find out which ones you can go for, or which ones look and see if they're for more kind of 5 years out or mid-career. Like you'll be able to find out from reading the different opportunities. I wanted to flag up the Triangle Network. They're an international network of artists and art organisations, but they often do workshops that are in the UK, and you can apply for them again just as a graduate. You can apply for them. As is like a very similar one, the Brazier's International Artists Workshop. Tidal Network's great because their last one I think was on a Scottish island, so they move around where the workshop is, and it's a group of national and international artists that come together over a set period and make work. So that's kind of an exciting opportunity.